Okay, so everybody should be able to hear me now. Then we are live. All right. So today, like I said, we are going to be looking at how we can use vibe coding as a tool to be able to speed up our design thinking process. Okay. So there are multiple ways in which you can try to like speed up your design thinking process with the help of what? AI, right? So from brainstorming designs to user flows, flow chart, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. Now, but when we want to look at um a design for maybe a design prompt that was given to us, or a general idea. So for example, now you have a client, you meet a client, the client says, I want to build what's it called? A GG app, right? Or I want to build a competitor of GG app, right? So normally the way you think about, okay, which screen are you guys seeing, please? Are you seeing my WhatsApp screen? Oh, please, if you cannot see my screen, let me know. Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Why is everybody mute? I say, can anybody hear me? Nobody's replying, nobody's texting, nobody's saying anything. Okay. So now, so you have, oh, I want to build a GG app, right? Before, for someone like me, what I usually do is I go through like the entire process, right? From asking questions to getting the right answers to study my competitors and all of those things takes me forever to do. Do you understand? So now, the very first thing I do in this kind of process now is I'm going to give a breakdown of all the processes and then how vibe coding can, or with the use, how the use of AI can come in. All right. So the first thing is what's usually the best process, right? Even so you can use UX design process, okay, or because for example now me I'm in Ontario, Canada. So Ontario has their own process too. So different places, different process depending on the people that are working with. So they call it the Ontario service design process. Okay. And this Ontario service design process kind of like is very more is way much more straightforward with when you are trying to like collaborate with AI, because theirs is like this. So they only just like they call it their process like this: discovery, alpha, alpha mode, or ordinary alpha, beta, and then uh launch slash delivery. Okay. So in your discovery mode now, what you are basically doing is you are doing research. Okay. And then in your alpha mode, what you are basically doing, the result of your research is to determine a couple of hypotheses. So you are creating hypothesis. Okay. And hypothesis and validation, basically. All right. And then in your beta mode, what you are doing now is creating a solution that you are going to most likely launch. So, but again, we still have solution and validation. Okay. And then after once you launch and post-launch research. Okay. And then you go back again like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, case closed. So you go through this circle over and over and over again. So that's basically how the Ontario service design process work, right? Then for the UX design, general UX design, you have something like this. Um, you have no, not just UX design now. Design thinking, right? So you have research, okay? You have define, you have should we call it design or build or prototype, whatever. Prototype, uh so you go do design or prototype, but some people still do like test. So let's just call it this one design, then you have your prototype, right? You test and then you uh launch. Okay, but again, if you are going with this way, do you understand? If you are going with this way, the problem I have with this is that for teaching students is a little bit confusing, right? But this one is more straightforward. Why? Because when this one feels like from the standpoint, it feels like a direct linear process, and you have like this kind of scattered flow that is going on. This one, this all of this section here, they actually embed all of this. Okay, so they embed 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So when you're in your alpha mode, you are when you're in your discovery mode, you have everything that has to do with like research. Okay. And then when you get to your alpha mode, you're talking about your hypothesis. So what are your hypotheses? Oh, based on our study. So that means from here now, the end point of your research is going to be what? Analysis, right? So and in analysis in design thinking process is the same thing as define. So we'll call it define analysis. Okay. So let me start opening these things up small, small. Okay. So inside alpha mode now. So inside alpha mode, we know that it's for creating. So yeah, now is that you call it define, but majorly we are trying to what find analysis. Okay. We are there. So once you are done with your analysis, right, then you begin to um set your hypothesis. Right? So then you begin to set your hypothesis. So you have your define, you have your what set your hypothesis, then you have your so now once you set your hypothesis, and how does the hypothesis look like? Is you are trying to literally think about like, okay, what are the possible solutions? Sorry, not the solution. What are the possible opportunities that we may have in the course of discovering this problem? So what that means is that while you define you've done the definition of what you think the problem most likely is going to look like, you are going to set up your hypothesis. And how do we now set up a hypothesis? You use the keyword called how my tweets, right? Now, all this thing I'm trying to go over is because I'm going to be using AI for all of these processes, right? Very quickly, just a single design pro. I'll use AI, all of these processes. So you can see how it's being done, right? So before we had like the old process where you have to do everything manually by yourself. But what I'm going to show you is how you can use AI to like go through everything step by step very quickly. So yeah, now we are going to do define analysis, set your hypothesis, set your and determine how my twist, and then you generate a couple of you generate a couple of solutions. All right. Now, in your beta stage now, when you've generated your couple of solutions, in this place, you are now creating that solution. So, so this will include design, designing of prototypes, right? And then yeah, you are doing usability testing, okay, to check whether, oh, this product I'm doing now, is it easy to use or is it difficult to use? Do you understand? So you have your creative solution, designing of so again, let me draw the lines so you are not confused. So I'm going to draw 6. So I'm going to draw the lines like this. Then we have creating solution. Then is under the creating solution and validation, what does that process looks like? Right? You now have designing of prototypes, setting your usability, right? And then what does launch look like? So launch now from the standpoint of, so now this on that I need you guys to understand clearly. So we have process from the standpoint of a designer. We have process from the standpoint of a product development cycle. Okay, we have, so now and then we now have like under product development cycle, we now have something we call it um um project delivery methodology. So that is, what is the method in which you want to deliver that project, right? So inside that, that's where you now be entering like agile, waterfall. Okay, so now, but when you are doing agile and waterfall, I'm going to use only agile to explain this because it works very well for agile. This entire process cannot exist without agile process. Okay, now when we talk about waterfall is simply saying that when a task is complete, don't start another task until a task has been completed. So meaning that until you have finished task number 1, you cannot go to task number 2. Do you understand? And it's even crazy that sometimes tax number 1, tax number 2 may depend on tax number 3, or tax number 1 may depend on tax number 2. But agile methodology tells you that you don't need to wait for tax 1 to be done before you do tax 2. And that's what came about breaking different tasks into its own separate calendar known as a sprint. So a sprint is a 2-week process whereby you are going to block out 2 weeks in a month and say, you see, these 2 weeks, we are just going to use to achieve this list of tasks. So your task could be like one thing, your task could be 2 things or 3 things. And then it's still more complex than that because those tasks now, they have a specific name tied to them. All right. And then if you have a task, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you can have a task that can be very complex, that there's no one that you can do within a month. There are some tasks that it will take you like 2 months, 3 months to do just a single task. So those tasks that take you 2 or 3 months to do, right? You can, if you look at it holistically, there's no how. You can still break those tasks into smaller units. Do you understand? So what people now do is that instead of having those tasks as separate units, what they now do is that instead of having those tasks and say, oh, this task we are going to do it for the next 3 months, right? They will now take that big task and break into smaller tasks. Now that big task, in order not to get confused, they now started calling it epic. So if you have seen all these African dramas, you will see, like, you see epic movies. Epic movies are like very long movies compared to like your normal even epic movies, blockbusters. Those two, they are very long, like 2.5 hours and above, right? And then you now have like your kind of home video or sitcoms that's like 20 to 30 minutes kind of video. So those ones now, so think of those sitcoms like How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, um is it Salt? I can't remember the Nigerian series now, right? So all those tiny series that you have, like 30 episodes. So each series now, right? So each of those movies, you can refer to them now as each task that people must achieve. So those individual tasks like that, you now address those individual tasks as what are we going to call it now? You are going to address those individual tasks as stories, right? And then the full series. So for example, now Merlin has like 8 seasons, right? So that Merlin now is the overall story, right? The entire entirety of all the overall stories. So that one now is what we refer to as the epic. And then the each seasons, right, is now what you refer to as what's it called? Each season is now what you refer to as your stories. Okay, so you will break all those tags. So those tags, so instead of saying tags one, tags two, tags three, tags four, you will just call it story one, story two, story three, story four, and so on and so forth. Now, this is where it now gets funny and weird. Now that we understood them as stories, stories now have a bunch of tags that are in them. I'll give you an example. If you want to create a login page now, right? What must go into your login page? An input field of the username, an input field of the password, and a button, right? A button to log in, a creating your account button, right? A text. So now all of those things now, they are lists of tasks that must be done, but it doesn't make any sense to add them as separate stories, right? Because all of them can be in a single page in your design. So you are not going to refer to that as your what? As your task list inside your story. Okay, and if you are working with a project manager, they will even give you like acceptance criteria. So your acceptance criteria will be a user must be able to see a clickable button. The user must be able to input the field correctly. A user must, if the user does not input the field correctly, tell them these are the things that you need to do. Okay, so that is what. But everything I just explained to you now is like the day-to-day of a a product manager. But now, how does this apply to you from the standpoint of trying to build a product, right? So you have a design prompt, okay, and this design prompt now, you are going to be relying majorly on AI. And the thing about AI is that AI is not good. AI is extremely good. So let me start from the angle of AI is not good. What AI is not good with. AI is not good with starting idea from scratch. Okay, so you need to give it enough information, enough context about what AI is, about what exactly you are trying to achieve, the phase you are in, and the role of the AI. Okay, the role of the AI in what you are trying to achieve. So what does that mean? So sometimes I'll tell you that okay, now I need you to play the role of a designer. Oh yeah, I'll tell you I need you to play the role of a developer before you start thinking. Okay, so it's like, think of it like AI is bipolar. So if you think that, because people they'll say AI is not working for them, because the first thing is that you are addressing AI as just one single entity, and a single entity is very very confused. Do you understand? But if you tell AI that okay, I want you to be this particular thing, then it will be able to think holistically from that point of view. So now let's jump right in. So we're in the discovery. So we are going to use these same flows, right, to try and come up with something very quickly. So by the end of the day, we'll just come with like just one screen of design. Okay. So this class I'm actually taking is supposed to be like part of a master class series, but I just want you guys to have this additional update. So now the prompt is I want to build a computer GG app, right? So let's say I'm on a call with the client now. The client is like, see, I have I have no idea. I don't even know. I just know that I want a GG app. I want to be able to do exactly what GG app is doing. Do you understand? And they give you that prompt. So now the first thing you want to do is you don't want to go and jump inside Figma and go and start sketching screens, or go to GG app and go and start taking screenshots. Do you understand? Yeah, now you want to be in your research mode. And the tool I usually use for research is what? Is Perplexity. But before I even go into Perplexity, I use Perplexity or O3, one of those two. But the problem I have with O3 is that I don't think I have enough time, because O3 takes 30 minutes. It's going to be loading for 30 minutes, and I don't think I have 30 minutes to wait to for it to finish loading. So I'm just going to use so when I'm saying O3, I mean ChatGPT. So if I log into, so but this one you have to have like a paid account before you can have access to it. So this is 4O. I use O3 for if I want to do a deep research. Okay. So that's that about that one. So if I come back here now, so I want to build a competitor a competitive app that's going to beat the GG app in Nigeria, right? So let me add in Nigeria. So how am I going to go about building it? So and these are the questions I always ask any client. Like I have like a template I give them already, so I'll not be stressing myself. Okay. So number one, I want to know your motivation. Okay. Number two, I want to know your own constraints as a business. Okay. Number three, I want to know, I want to know the users. Okay. And this one now, it now boils down into other things. Okay. I want to know not just the users, but their current challenges. All right. So I want to know their current challenges. Okay. Number five, I want to know how they are presently trying to solve it. Because there's nobody that have problem that's not trying to solve their problem. Just that what they may have is not good enough, basically. Okay. So how they are currently trying to solve it. All right. So first, if I ask the client, oh, what's your motivation? I want to make money. Make money. Some be like, ah, no, and the Holy Spirit brought it to me, or it's just passion field. It's always something like this. All right. But this one is good for me so that I can know how to charge you. Do you understand? So I use this motivation so I can know exactly how much I want to charge you in my discovery call. Okay. If you are passion field, your money is up. Like it's going to go very high. But if you are, because a passion field person now is like, okay, even if the idea doesn't work, I'm ready to spend anything for it to work. But if it's your focus to make money, and that one is going to be on a particular kind of agreement. Do you understand that? And this one is usually on percentage. So this one is always on percentage. Passion field, passion field for them is not on percentage, it's just on delivery. Okay. So when I mean on delivery, this is what I'm saying. So for example, now, you want a landing page. Do you understand? I want to be able to like help people to do 5 and 6. I want to be able to help people to be able to find customers easily. Right? This one I can say, okay, oh, for what you want to do, if I deliver your full MVP for you, I usually do that at $5,000. Does that make sense? But percentage now, I want to make money. Okay, you want to make a lot of money okay, your for your growth. So this one I call it growth. And then this one your money usually starts around like maybe uh 5%. Okay. So but sometimes I can be very linear, I can still do like 2.5%. And then with a buyout clause. Okay. So 5% to 2.5% with a buyout clause. All right. So the buyout clause is if you have gotten to this certain amount. So this one now usually go up to upwards of like maybe 100,000, like $100,000. Sure you get before you buy me out. So that's what this motivation is for. So that's what I say. So now what is your constraint at your business? Okay, so under constraint now we're looking at I don't have. So constraint as a business now could be something around um give me a second. Constraint around your business could be I don't have enough money, or I don't have developers. Okay. Or it could be something around I don't have enough money, I don't have developers. Let me say that it's gonna go. I don't have developers. So let me start opening these ones up. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this one, I don't have developers, right? Then the next thing is, who are the users? So if you study GG app, so again, because the person is saying a computer, so who are the users? I don't know. I just want to have a GG app. Okay, that's what you want. I can go to Perplexity, right? This is my best tool for anything quick search. I want to find out about anything very quickly. I like Google is like a total waste of time, especially as a designer. Like you're wasting your time. So Perplexity, I can say, um, who are the users on gg gg.ng, right? So it's going to list it out, and already, can you see it? Do you see the user type? Do you see the age range? I do not have to stress myself at all, like at all. So now I know the user type. So we have buyers, we have sellers, we have job seekers. Do you see how I was able to take a design prompt and start building up on it? Are we together? So this way you're able to think very quickly. So if you copy my template, your life will be a lot more better. You sound very professional very quickly. So that I say like it's part of like another master class. I just want to add it for you guys here. So now number one, now we already know that. For our number three, we have buyers, we have sellers, we have job seekers according to Perplexity, right? So according and if you look at it, oh, okay, so these are individuals seeking bargains on items such as cars, electronics, household, blah 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 blah. And sellers now, both private individuals and small to medium, right, use it to list products and services. And then job seekers, they can also browse and search for what's it called, vacancies. And again, out of the box, you can see their behaviors and interests, right? So now, because I am very lazy, okay, from this section alone now, so where there is users, so we have all of these three users, right? So, and because I am lazy, now I'm going to go to the next section here and break them up into a table. So we have our buyers, okay, and then our buyers is here. So we have our buyers here. We have our sellers here, okay, and then finally we have our um job seekers. Okay, are we together? So now let's identify what are the current challenges on the platform. I remember that he wants to create a competitive app, right? So now let's come back. So we are still going to copy exactly what we have here now. Okay, so let me just copy all of this for now and place somewhere in my document. I can see like everything is already set. So I just need to copy it. And so quick, your best research tool is Perplexity. I can see I can just paste everything in my file here, but let me just take a quick screenshot. So there's this plugin I created. I've encoded this screenshot into um so it's going to take a screenshot of everything and try and save on my downloads. Okay, then I can quickly import it here back. Yeah, so we have this one here. Okay, so it takes screenshot of whatever you're viewing. All right, so and this is what I'm looking for. So we have all of this here. All right, so you can see device preference, predominantly mobile, right? So this is another thing that you ask your client. Okay, so now, and so what are they presently trying to solve it? And then your number six question will be um so you get to your solution aspects. So your solution questions could be like um what kind of devices do they use? Okay, and then now the client can be like so I think that they use phones and sometimes laptop. Okay, but now let's now switch back again. So we have buyers and sellers, right? because I'm lazy, I'm just going to tell Perplexity, you know what? Can you tell me? So because I'm trying to create a competitive app now, so can you tell me the current challenges they are having? Yeah, so I'm going to do a follow-up question and say, can you tell me again? If you want to be faster, like the way I'm talking now, I already have an app called Whisper on my what is it called? I have an app called Whisper. You can use Superhuman or whatever, right? So it's a voice recording tool that you can use. So it's like not just voice alone, like text to speech. So I'm just going to come here and press my shortcut and say, can you please tell me more about the buyers? Um, wait. Okay, so erase everything I just said earlier and add this instead. Can you tell me more about the buyers, sellers, and the job seekers? And what I'm actually interested in is to see a table of what they are currently experiencing or complaining about GG. Okay, so I'm going to erase all of this part like so. Okay, so you can see, can you tell me more about the buyers, seekers, and job seekers? What I'm actually interested in is to see a table of words um showing. So it's going to list it out. So normally you'd have to, hello, are we together? Normally you'd have to go through the entire website or go and look for places or sources for finding the complaints and the challenges. Now with AI, you don't need that anymore. You just use this and then to help you to find it and figure it out quickly. Are we together? Hello, can everybody hear me? Please, if you can hear me, say something so I can go on.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
So now with AI, you can find all of these things quickly. So because I'm lazy, I don't want to copy and paste again. I'm just going to take a screenshot like this. So we have all of this one here already, right? See? So even while on the discovery call, you can have all this one done for you immediately. Do you understand? So now the next step now is to now um talk to the users themselves. So you want to talk to like 2 or 3 or more people, right? Up to 10 people that you are going to have conversations with. And but the kind of conversation you tend to have with them now is to what's it called? The kind of conversation you are going to have with those users is just to get more information, because again, AI is not always totally correct, right? So you always want to like ask the users and see. So you can just go like, so for me now, I'm just going to go into GG, right? Chat 1 or 2 people there as if I want to buy, and then tell them that, oh, I'm actually a researcher. I'm trying to understand what the problems they are currently facing with GG and how they feel like it could be better. Do you understand? So that is one way of reaching out to the GG customers directly. Do you understand? Um, to be able to know exactly what could be done better. But based on this, so let's say so based off of that information, now you are now going to do like a further analysis, which we're actually going to skip, okay? Because we have enough here to jump into our demo. So we're going to do a further analysis, and in that further analysis, there are actually many types of analysis. Okay, even there are actually many types of research. So for in and again, that now refers me back to this place. So in your under your research, right? We have different types of research. Okay, so you have your ethnography research, your one-on-one interview. So your one-on-one interview could be you chatting them up and talking to them, right? So that's a form of one-on-one interview. Your ethnography research, the idea of ethnography research is to be in their environment. Okay, so being in their environment simply means that you are literally going to meet them, right? And try and experience them on how they're actually trying to transact business or do business with another person on GG. So you are seeing how they're interacting, and then up to the final point where they are going to meet and maybe exchange the goods and services. All right. So now, once you have that set and you have all your questions, all your problems identified like this, okay. Now the next thing now is to try and come up with how my twist. Okay. So now, because I'm lazy, I'm going to take this into ChatGPT o3, paste that screenshot here, and say establish. Let me reload this again. Okay, so now look at these complaints and convert them into how might with. Okay, so now remember what I said. You give it the problem that you want it to solve, you identify the role. So you can start with, you are an expert UX designer with high problem solving skills. Okay, then you tell you the task. So your task is to, now again, there's another thing that I did not mention, is that apart from the task, you always want to specify the context. Okay, so those are the 3 steps. So now let's talk about the context. So what is the context here? So we are currently trying to create an app, but we are still in the define phase, because that's where we are now. So we are trying to define, we are trying to identify what are the possible questions. We are seeing the define phase. Okay, the idea we have is to build a better competitive app that will beat gg.ng in Nigeria. Okay, so when you have all of this set, now you can now press send, and then now it's going to start thinking about it. Okay, and then when it's done thinking about it, it's going to generate all the questions for you. So normally, I know the problem, some of you may ask that, so this has taken thinking away from you. No, this has only helped you to speed up your thinking process. Do you understand? So you can see it now. Instead of you thinking about, oh, how can we translate these questions here, this list of problems. So all these problems here was what we did at the define stage. So we identify all of the problems. Okay, so even when you do your analysis, you could use what's it called, uh if you do like your normal research and all of those things, you are going to come up with specific themes, right? Those themes are actually now going to become your the list of the problems that you have. Okay, so now the list of the problems you have, you now have to translate them to how my twist, so that now you can now start generating solution based on that. Okay, or that will actually now translate to not just your solution but to your list of features. All right, so that would be how my tweet enables buyer to instantly recognize and avoid fraudulent or high risk sellers before committing to a purchase. How might we guarantee that buyers critical review remain visible and trustworthy even when they are negative? How might we provide details with fast and so on and so forth? You can see that, like right now, all of this looks very good, and you can see what he did here with the teams, right? So he said to fuel strategic concept. Now, so this, if you are working with like a depending on your level, for example, now if you're a design manager, this is your own part. Okay, but from a perspective of just a normal designer on the job, right? So this is what you want to look into. So you can see that each user now, each specific user type has his own set of questions. So I'm going to copy all of this again, right? Or you can just take a screenshot and paste it right in this place. So one moment, please. Where do you go? Okay. So now here now, so we've identified the current challenges as this. So let me just take all of this out. So we identify all their problems as this. And then the next one is even instead of trying to say I want to know how they are trying to presently solve it, right? There's no need for that again. Though it's very important that you find out about that. So for example now, oh, how are they trying to avoid scam and fraudulent practices, right? You can do a better research, okay, on that. So again, I can still go back to that same perplexity and say this now, copy everything, paste it here, and then identify and say how are these user types presently trying to solve the above issues. Okay, so you see it give you answers already, and these answers I can actually now translate into these answers can actually translate into what's it called, your specific your list of features. Okay, so I'm going to copy all of this now. What am I doing? I can just copy at the bottom here. So I'm going to copy all of this here, come back to this drawing tool. So maybe I wonder why am I not using Figma? This one I don't know. I just kind of prefer for something like this, especially when I'm copying and pasting from an AI tool. Which was the thing that Figma is supposed to focus on, but they're doing rubbish. All those things that Figma launched recently, I'm not happy with them at all. But they'll be all right. Because what they should have done instead is figure out everything they have, but it should be inside Figma. So so yeah, now you can see the main user groups are blah blah blah. Below it is you see all this thing I'm doing right now, it takes months, like sometimes a month, a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on the number of people that is on the project, right? So you can see here now you've also identified what are these are like the list of things they are presently trying to do to solve it, right? So you can read it, digest it, and go through it. But me, I don't have that time because I want to round off shortly. So you can go through all of this information here. And then now once you're done with that, now the next thing that you want to now identify is that okay, so we already have our how my tweets. Okay. So this is all our how my tweets now. Okay. So now the thing now is that we are going to still ask the AI again now to give us the answer. So how might we enable this, that, and so on and so forth. So in this place here now, right, I'm not going to say answer the how my tweets above. Okay, but break them down into, please, this prompt is very important, into unified features. Okay, now why am I not continuing like this additional prompt? Because we have already listed all of this one here already, right? So now I've just identified into just features alone. So I know that I'm using O3. Okay, so if I was using like doing like a and again before I continue, sorry, so if I continue for something like this now, I used to add search. Okay, because you don't want it to just rely on the information it has. You also want it to like rely on the internet, right? So it gathers more information, see what other people have done, and then brings it here. Again, apart from this, what is also going to do on the fly is that before you will normally have to like go and look for, oh, who are all my list of competitors, and which is one thing I missed here is this place. After once you've done what are they trying to do to currently solve it, you can ask them like, okay, who are your competitors? And you know they've already answered it already that okay, one of our competitors is GG. Okay, so they could have like other several competitors that you're supposed to look into. But me adding this reset now is already adding this set is already going to do that already, even without saying it. Okay. So hit send, and then it's going to think a bit, look through the internet, and then give a reply. So it could take up to like maybe 5-10 seconds. So why this is loading? If you want to learn more about Ontario Service Design, so you can just look for Ontario Service Design digital book. Okay. So this is it. I'm going to paste it in our chat. So Ms. Nika is going to send it to you guys. Uh, so you can read more about it. Like it's just a full book. So discovery, alpha, beta, and launch or live, anyone you want to call it. Okay, and then you can read through everything, because it breaks everything down in full detail. Okay, remember when I talk about like the sprint and so on and so forth, right? So you have everything there broken down and explained thoroughly. All right, so that's that about that. All right, so I think it should be done now. Okay, good. So you can see already, yeah, we have different features already. So we have KYC backed employer badge, zero knowledge review ledger, dual rating handshake. Okay. Employer vetting platform, right? We could come up with escrow by default. Okay, so we lock the funds and then they are going to pay afterwards. Okay. Authenticity guarantee workflows. So, and what it's going to be is like it's going to be show high risk categories, right? And it's going to go through like a third party inspector. All right. But again, this one now can fall under constraint. So again, it's not as if like whatever AI gives you, that's what you are going to um you are going to deliver to the client, right? So something like this now I can say, okay, all of this, all of this looks good, but I have the following constraints. Number one, it's just an MVP. Number two, I have only a few budgets with no investors. Okay, so that's why, like, there's no you can be building without putting constraints, because it's constraint that is going to help you. For example, now having a third party inspector will mean that you are using another person. So it could be an individual that is going to look at the it's going to be an individual that is going to look at the app, that is going to look at whatever they are trying to exchange or sell before they can send it out. That is one. Or number two, they have to spend excess money on AI related products. Okay, so I have a couple of constraints. So please update. And you can see what I was talking about, the on-device AI scan filter. On-device AI scan filter right now is very expensive for the phone, because there are not many phones that actually have 16 gig RAM and above. So it's very, very expensive to put an on-device AI stuff. Maybe later in future, in like 3, 4, 5 years, when everybody have changed their phone. Hey. But right now, on-device AI system is not easily possible like that. Like it has been not possible, but like it's very, very slow. And because of you need a very heavy RAM that can accommodate apart from RAM, a better graphics card than what we have right now. that can accommodate the feature, or maybe they can just refactor the way the code works. Okay, so now you can see now it's now rethinking everything as a result of MVP, and then now you can take this back to your client and propose it to them. Okay, so once you have all of this idea here now, so let's just pick one, and then we are going to create. So after this one, now what you want to do it now is we want to identify the next step now as a designer is for you to identify, okay, we've identified all the features. Now we now have to think about like how are the features going to come together, right? So the first thing you want to identify is what is the user journey. So now again, let's continue and say, so like I see how I started with perplexity and now I'm now in O3. And I say, can you identify the user journeys and how it can be a single app? All right. So it's going to give you all the list of the user journeys, right? Because it can be like 4, 5, 6, 10 user journeys. So you're going to think through it before giving you a reply. So the list of features we are going to have definitely have is where is it? So we are going to have onboarding, we are going to have payments, we are going to have fraud system, we are going to have support. Okay, very important. Okay, and if you look at it now, from here now, okay, still loading. It even goes about like giving you like your 90-day execution, like how you can get this done in 30 days. Okay, so let's wait for it. So O3 is kind of slow, right? And then now it gives you each persona and the kind of user journey. So for example, now this is the end-to-end user journey for a buyer, right? So you can see it. They discover and onboard, browse and evaluate, design a chart, secure checkout, receive and inspect, rate and review. So AI is literally the one just working on this thing. These things take time, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, depending on trying to do it, right? But with AI, like right now, you can do everything. And see, already it has even set up like your information architecture already. Okay, with your designs here, and even it gives you like a list stack. So a list stack is whereby instead of having to wait for like 7 months or 9 months or even a year to design the platform, these are things that you can easily do to quickly like fine tune it and make sure that okay, you deliver in just 3 months. Okay, and you can see already gives you like the breakdown, like, oh, okay, so for to do KYC you can use Paystack and Doja, right? They offer per call pricing for the KYC details. For escrow checkouts you can do 1%, right? If you are using the escrow lock tool. Okay, I think we're gonna look for it. They already did it. For share tribe now, so these are all the technical tools basically, okay, they are using to figure all of this out already. And then now you can see already that it says what, please build a Figma prototype that works through buyer journey in less than 5 screens and seller journey in less than 7 screens. It already gives you like, oh, these are the next steps, right? So this is where you want to take. So for me now, what I do from this point now is I want to design like the full PRD. So this is where we are going to do. Actually use I don't used to do research again. I do deep search, but in this case, I'm just gonna, because I want it to be fast, I'm just say, so you are, and again now I'm changing the role now. You can see. So when we talk about AI agent, I don't know whether you guys have been hearing AI agent on the internet. What they are simply doing is an AI that can do just one specific thing. So even this company, Tempo Lab, that's what they are doing. Like that's what they are doing. But if you say, look how much people are paying for it, you'll be shocked. And they have a lot of users. Tempo Lab. Okay, this Tempo Lab, you can build React app faster. All right, and the React app is like this. See, you have your PRD, you have your design, you have your code, you have 3 agents, you have a designer, you have a designer. Sorry, you have a product manager, you have a designer, and then you have a what, a developer. So that tells you that what they are using, what, 3 AI agents, at least on the surface. They could be using more because inside design now we have interaction designer, we have UI UX or UX designer, we have graphic designer inside design. Are we together? So it could be more. All right. So inside code now we have like different stacks, tan stack, main stack, different development mode generally. Okay. So now you could use Tempo Lab. So the next thing is I want to generate my PRD because your PRD is the next most important thing, like very, very important. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and say, I know, so you are an expert product manager. Product manager. Okay. So now, based on the MVP that we have, your tax. So again, based on the MVP is the, so remember, again, you want to give like with 25 years of experience. Again, very important. So you're a product manager, okay, with 25 years of experience. Based on the MVP that we have, your task is to create a detailed MVP with um a different MVP with design specification and functional requirements. Don't forget to include acceptance criteria and all the necessary things that goes into building into writing a detailed PLD that developers and designers would be able to use effectively. Okay, so I'm going to hit search so that you can like, instead of relying on its memory alone, it's going to also search the internet. All right, so I hit send. It's going to take a couple of minutes in this time around, like 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so we are almost at the end of the class. So you can see how we took just one simple design prompt. All right, and then we've gotten to the MVP stage now. So we've gotten to the PRD stage, because from the PRD stage is actually where, so if you look at our process again, where is it, escalator? Okay, so if you look at our process, so once you identify who the competitor are, now you are going to solution, right? So you are trying to determine, oh, what kind of devices do you use, whether phone or laptop. Now the mistake we made while we are trying to build this are that we did not specify whether it's supposed to be a laptop or this thing. So that's why sometimes when you are not totally sure and you want the AI to even do something more interesting, now I'm going to stop it and come back here and edit. Now, if you need, so I'm going to add just this. Don't, please, this one is always very important. So you want to always put it at the end, especially when you are not sure, but you don't know questions to ask it. So you want to say, don't start writing until you are 95. So you want to do 80 or 95, whatever, but it should not be less than 80%. Basically, you're 95% sure about what you want to write, and if you are not sure, make sure to ask me for clarification. Okay, send. So you can see, so AI 2 takes time because it has to think, plan, search, and do this thing. If it doesn't have any question, you can see it came up with the business name. It calls it trust small, whatever. It set the goal that it's trying to achieve. It's talking about the scope here. Is writing out all the necessary functional requirements. Okay. Is writing the listing and search page, the escrow payment page, the chat and support interface, right? So it's writing everything out very quickly. Okay, and you also have like your non-functional requirements, success criteria. You can see UI foundation, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these are all the acceptance criteria with this page. So this is actually not detailed, because we still have to like break down all the screens one after the other, right? So if I wanted to like break down all the screens and all of those things, right, I can still always add all those ones. Okay. So, but based on what we have here now, I'm just going to copy this reply, and then I'll go to a design tool. So you could use both new, you can use lovable and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to log in with both.new, right? Because, and the good thing about both is that it gives you access to free, what's it called? Free message. So it's based on the messages that you use. So every day you have like free message. Okay. So I'm just going to click on send. So everything that it gave me, I'm just going to click on send. I don't want to look at anything. So it's the one that is going to look through it, plan it by itself. And this will take like another 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, depending on how far we go. Okay, so I actually skip like multiple steps, but I'm just trying to round up. So whatever, based on what you have here, you still want to break it down to like more numbers, more number of screens, because right now you can see it gave me a summarized sample story. It's not complete. All right, I just want to generate one screen with bold.new. Okay, that's what I'm just trying to do. So it's going to create all the color styles. It's going to add what's it called? It's going to add the page and so on and so forth. You can see I didn't set any user, like maybe John the buyer, Sarah seller, and so on and so forth. No, it doesn't concern me. So these are like you can brainstorm very quickly. So sometimes even when I have a prompt and I'm able to move it to this step, I'll just use AI now to just quickly create like prototype for me, and then I can use that in my design, okay, before actually now delivering it to developer. Or even I can take a screenshot of my design, paste it in bold.new to make it interactive, and then give it developer, and then developer can now play with it. So instead of having to like do all those nonsense Figma prototype, I don't touch Figma prototyping tool again. I will just take the screenshot, put inside here, adjust it here, and then send it to developer. They always thank me. So do we have any questions so far while this is building up? Yeah, I can hear you.
So my question is for the ChatGPT o3.
Yes.
Yes,
Not free.
I sounds I think it is paid.
Yes, paid is not free.
So is there any other like AI that we can use in place of that?
You use perplexity. You can use perplexity to do everything. Just that perplexity will not give you the full information. You understand?
Okay.
Then if you're a student, you can use
Yeah.
if you're a student, you can use your student email to download Cursor AI. And then when you download Cursor AI, inside Cursor AI can help you with all of this to write all the documentation and everything. So, but you just need to register as a student. That one is unlimited and it's free.
Okay. Cursor AI.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
it's free and unlimited, but you need to log in with your student email. So when you log in your student
Okay.
email, they will tell you to buy. You just say you're a student, and then they will give you unlimited. But it has to be a student email.
Okay. That will be your student email.
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be a student email.
Okay. Thank you.
You can see like he's working on a lot of screens that normally we are going to design each and everything one after the other. It's going to to take you serious time. So this on that important thing that you guys should note. I didn't specify the colors. I didn't tell it, oh, this is the name of the company. All I just told it was, I have this idea I want to build. But you see, I don't just jump in and say, oh, build me a website. No, I have to do all those groundwork. So groundwork, normally groundwork should take a day or 2 days. You always try and do that first before you jump into all these AI tools. Because if you're able to give it the best context before you start building, you will enjoy yourself. But if you are not giving the best context before you start building, you will cry. Yeah, with you. The answer still is $X. Okay, no. All right. So it's still building. Once it shows now, I'll do a quick flow. 1, 2. Oh, is this working? Is this not working? And then we call it case close. I think we are good now. So that implemented the PRD out of the box. And then we have this. Do you see? I didn't create a landing page, has created a landing page. Can you see it? With all the cards and everything. And then if I click on I think sell. Okay, sell page is not working. Categories, join the buyer. Okay, just different people. This is the only thing showing me here. And then I'm able to filter, right? So I'm able to filter. You can see I have like the verified badge that is showing me. Okay. And if I want to even now go in depth and start like making this fully a full app, right? I can start selecting. So I can say when I click on this, so this is inspector now. So I can click and say, okay, when I click on this, I should be able to log out from my system. Okay, so it's going to look at that. Do you see? And then start adding a logout functionality. So again, you only have free tokens. If I think I can get free token if I invite somebody. Yeah, so let me send you this link. So I'm going to drop it on this thing so everybody can join. And then so everybody can get free tokens as well. Okay. So you can see that it has added the logout. So when I click on this, can you see now there's logout? Before it was not there, now there's logout. Okay, and then I can. So when I can also tell you that, oh, when I click on logout, it's not allowing me to log out. See, I only have for a 3K left. So I can say, when I click on logout, it's not logging me out. Make sure that the authentication is working effectively. Okay, and I can tell it to do that, and then it just start building that logic in, and then it's going to start writing external additional logic that I didn't even initially add, and then it's going to update all the necessary things. This one alone is going to take time. Okay, so the problem I have with this one, like if you don't have enough tokens, building is not interesting. So sometimes you can run out of tokens, and then you have to buy more. There was one I was using before. That one is V0. V0 is that one was very good for because they only charge you per message. The now see that that per message is not good because people will pack everything inside one single message. So now you can see now I can sign in. Okay, it's not going to allow me to sign because I still have to have a place where I should be able to like create account and so on and so forth. But you can see why it's not continuing because I've used up my daily tokens. So, but with these few things now, you can see that this is how you can go about creating an MVP for your client, and you can do this. So something that will take you 3 months for MVP before is now going to be like a week or 2 weeks max, and you're done. So we've come to the end of this class. Thank you so much for staying true to the end. I'll see you another time.